if you own any firearms, I'm sure you understand how important it is to make sure they're sighted in properly so that wherever your sights are pointing is where the bullet's going to wind up. Sometimes that's simple to do. Sometimes it's a little bit of a pain in the neck, especially with a handgun, where it's really difficult to get that thing stabilized properly so you're going to be consistent. So today's video, we take a look at something I think is very, very useful, and it's from the folks at Ransom International. They've been making stuff to steady firearms for testing and accuracy and sighting in for literally since 1968. They were kind of to send me this. This is a Ransom multi-cal steady rest, and it's super simple yet super useful. I think you're going to like it. We're going to take it to the range and see it in action, and I'll show you all why I think this thing is so helpful coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me. And as I said, today we're going to be talking about this Ransom multi-cal steady rest. And I'm not just going to be talking about it. I'm going to show you how this thing works, what I think is so useful about it, and take you to the range with me and show, so we can see it in action and see if it actually accomplishes anything. But first, as always, today's words of wisdom from the Bible. I know that triggers some people. If it triggers you, ask yourself why. This is Proverbs 3 verses 13, 14, and 15. They're short, but I think it's pretty universal wisdom. Speaking of that, joyful is the person who finds wisdom, the one who gains understanding. For wisdom is more profitable than silver, and her wages are better than gold. Wisdom is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. Also, real quickly, I got to give a big thank you to my friends at Hog Holsters for sponsoring today's video. Hog Holsters, look at them, helping Americans wear guns, made right here in the USA in Arizona, the same state the Ransom rest is made in. And I got a little thing I'll show you here in just a minute, which brings up Hog Holster. But Hog Holsters makes the concealed carry pistol holster this is one of them that I've been using for I don't know, over 10 years now. They're the most comfortable, most concealable holster I've ever tried. Literally, I tried a bunch of holsters. Once I tried Hog and found it, I haven't looked for it anymore. So anyway, thanks to Hog Holsters for sponsoring today's video. Now, let me just get you down here to the old tabletop here in just a minute. We're going to take a closer look at the details of this thing, and then we'll take her to the range and see if it actually accomplishes what it's intended to do, which is help you steady your pistol so you can check your sights and do whatever. What we're going to do, we're going to take this Palmetto dagger that I just installed, this Meprolite. What is this? A Meprolite Pro. I'll tell you what it is. It's a Pro F or something like that. It's an enclosed optic, but I wanted to get it completely adjusted in, so I took it to the range, put some rounds through it. I'll take you with me in a minute. So let me take you down here to the old tabletop. We'll take a look at this thing, talk about everything I can think of to tell you that you might want to know if you're considering whether something like this would help you, and then we'll take you to range and show you. Okay, so here is the Ransom multi-cal steady rest from the folks at Ransom International. Real briefly, if you're not familiar with Ransom International, they're the makers of the world-famous Ransom rest, and I say world-famous. They're used literally by probably most firearms manufacturers, all sorts of government agencies all over the world, and all sorts of just anybody who wants to make sure they have a very accurate setup or just to test the accuracy on stuff. They are just world famous. Look them up. I encourage you to check them out on the internet. But this is their kind of no frills pistol brace. It's actually, you can use it for pistols or rifles, but I especially like it for pistols. I met those guys when I was at Gunsight a few weeks ago, and they were kind enough to send me one of these to check it out. And then just give you a little close up here. Can you see that, what it says on bottom of the engraving there? Brian Stevens, Survival on Purpose. John at Hog Holsters did that for me. So pretty cool there. So let's talk about this thing now. First of all, it's made of aerospace grade 6061 aluminum billet. They bring in the billets in and they machine it in-house. So it is super solid aluminum, but it's not super heavy. It's adjustable V-block, they call it. And it's, let me take this off. This is a little optional sock. I'm about to tear that up now. It has a leather coated little, they call it a V-block. It adjusts up or down. You can set whatever angles you need. It has a wrist rest here that you would do like this, and I'll show you just here. I'll show you right now. Hey. So depending on the gun, you can rest it like this, and then you can really keep it nice and solid, just, you know, exactly where you need it. And then you can put these on, and it gives you a little padding. These are optional. I think they're like $15 or something like that. And that also allows you to push your trigger guard up tight against it if you want to do that, just to get as much stability as you possibly can, because the goal, of course, to just make sure this is a consistent, stable platform, so that every time you press that trigger, that this thing is pointed in exactly the same direction it was last time. That way, you can if you need to move your impact rounds around, adjust your sighting, then you know how to move it. Let's see, it has legs on the bottom of it that are adjustable. You need to make it level or whatever, and they'll go up, you know, half an inch maybe, like that. And then you'll also notice on the bottom it's threaded for a standard 1/4x20 threads for like any kind of basically tripod, bipod adapter. Also, the bottom of this is threaded. If you want to take it off and just use this on a really strong tripod or whatever. And then I'm not going to take it off right now, but the bottom of this plate here is also threaded. You can take it off and have it separately, so you can have a pretty wide range of functions on this one tool, which I think is pretty cool. Also, this is set up right now for like shorter barrels with a pistol. If you have like a longer barrel revolver, you want to get support more out to the end of it, and you basically just flip this around. It's got 3 bolts. You flip it around, and you have it puts it out here instead of here. And this is also adjustable. This pad, you can turn it this way if you want it for revolvers, and it's all bolted on with Allen bolts. Did I mention this is 100% made in the USA with USA source materials in Arizona? I had to cut this in because I almost forgot to show you something else that I think is really cool about this. It's designed to fit into a standard 50 cal ammo can. You get room in there for, I had room in here today for 250 rounds and a few magazines, so pretty cool. The price on this is between 170 and 210 bucks. So, and that's I think this is another 15 bucks if you want this leather sock, they call it here. But that's for a super American made, really solid. It looks pretty simple. I'm sure I'm going to get comments, I can make that thing for whatever. Well, knock yourself out. But these guys have been doing it for a while, so I trust them. Chuck Norris has a grizzly bear rug in his house. It's not dead, it's just afraid to move. Okay, I promised I'd take you to the range. I don't want to bore you with a bunch of endless behind my back footage of me shooting. So, kind of give you the highlights, but I went to my local indoor shooting range, which, by the way, if you're on the west side of Atlanta, is Freedom Shooting Center. I took the Palmetto State Dagger full size with the Mepperlite MPO Pro F on it. I just put this on, so I needed to sight it in. And I took the Ransom multi-cal steady rest with me and started at 25 feet. And by the way, if you can see the little shelf there in front of you, whatever you call it, drop down tray, it's plastic. It's just kind of sloppy and moves around. So what I had to do was put the Ransom rest on it. I put the pistol on there and pushed it all the way up against tight with the front of the trigger guard. And by the way, look how well that thing just stands up there. It is not bolted in, screwed in, or anything. It's not magnetized. It just stays there like it's nestled in loving security. But anyway, then I pushed the whole thing so that the tray would swing out to the end of its range of motion, and just held it there to while I carefully squeezed the trigger, pressed the trigger, trying to not jerk it. Sometimes I jerked it, but my goal, of course, was to make sure that the pistol stayed in exactly the same position, or returned to the position after recoil that it was in before, so that theoretically all the shots should be theoretically in one hole if I press the trigger straight, but at least that'll give you the closest we can get to that. Start at 25 feet, and as you can see, I'm a little bit low. I thought that could be because of offset, but or it could be because the sights need adjusting. I just put them on. So I went to 50 feet. And still a little bit low, I think. So did the whole thing with the sights and all that, and got it raised up. But what I really want to point out is that the groove sizes that I was getting even at 50 feet, for me with a handgun, I don't think I could do that free-handed. I mean, I like to think I could, but bottom line, this sucker works. I've tried several different things. I've tried these big foam things they got at the shooting range. Couldn't stand them. Tried sandbags. The problem with sandbags is that you don't really know you're getting a consistent return to the same location because the bag can sag a little bit. Recoil could press the sand down. It's move a little bit. This ain't moving. This is by golly, non-movable, solid. Look how thick that is. It works. That's all I can say. And I know, yep, they sent it to me. Didn't charge me for it, and my friend John even put my name on it. But believe me or not, I don't care. They sell these things at Gunsight, and I was about to buy one, and John said, "Well, you know that guy. Let me call him." So he did, and he met us at lunch one day, and hooked me up with this. To be honest with you, so. Just be transparent about that, but like I said, I was literally about to buy one because I've had so many issues trying to sight in my pistol. So in this case, a lot of people always ask me, would you buy that with your own money? And I don't see how that's relevant necessarily to whether or not this thing does what it's supposed to do, but in this case, yeah, I would. I was about to, and thankfully I didn't have to. So anyway, so yeah, thanks again to the folks at Ransom International for hooking me up with this so I can show it to you and test it. And I got to say, also, thank them for making such a simple, good way to absolutely the best you can sight in a handgun or any gun. You can use this for rifle rest or front rest. It's the thing, even if you use it for rifle, and I'm going to be done rambling in a minute. Just think about that. It's still going to give you a consistent hold every time. So anyway, I hope this video has been helpful. I really sincerely appreciate you watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival is not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.